In the latest episode of the New Heights podcast, Brad Pitt openly shared for the first time the current state of his mental and emotional well-being. No more avoidance, no more playing the role of the victorious man after a high-profile divorce. "I just want to move on and leave it all behind," he said, softly but with unmistakable weight in his voice. For fans who have followed the nearly decade-long divorce saga between him and Angelina Jolie, this wasn't just a passing comment. It was a signal that Brad has reached emotional rock bottom and is now struggling to rise from a past shattered, not just by a broken marriage, but by a fractured fatherhood. A close source revealed, the collapse of that marriage has controlled Brad's life for years. He loved Jolie deeply, and then came to realize he had made a mistake. That realization wasn't an easy one, because for 12 years, Brad and Angelina didn't just build a family, they built an image of a modern-day Hollywood ideal. They starred in films together, engaged in humanitarian work, and adopted children from all around the world. Maddox, Paxtian, Zahara, Shiloh, and the twins Vivienne and Knox once formed the center of their universe. Now Pitt is slowly becoming a lonely satellite, left drifting at the edge. Instead of a peaceful separation, the aftermath of their breakup was a grueling stretch of custody battles, the explosive 2016 plane incident, and public revelations about Pitt's alcohol addiction that stunned the world. The result was a deep rift, one that hasn't healed, between Pitt and the children he once cherished so deeply. He doesn't place all the blame on Angelina, the source shared. What hurts Brad the most isn't the divorce itself, but the broken relationship with his kids. Nobody won that court battle. And while he feels some relief that it's over, the sense of loss in his role as a father remains just as raw. You don't have to be a famous father to understand that kind of ache. You just have to be a real one. Since the divorce, Brad Pitt is no longer the weary man stepping out of late-night parties with a drink in hand and an empty smile. He's walked into the long, grueling journey of sobriety, a decision that was not easy, but necessary. In Armchair Expert, another podcast aired in June, Pitt admitted he was once in a state of near collapse and had to go through a real awakening. His Alcoholics Anonymous AA meetings became the place where he found the shattered pieces of himself. "I tried everything, anything someone suggested. I needed to start over," he said with a kind of heartbreaking calm. That sentence, though simple, carried the essence of a man learning, step by painful step, how to be human again. If Brad is learning to let go, Angelina Jolie seems unable to do the same. A source told Us Weekly, "Jolie hasn't been able to forgive Brad. Maybe she never will." That statement isn't a critique. It feels more like an undeniable truth. Some wounds are just too deep, too prolonged, and too publicly exposed to be washed away by time. The law may have freed Pitt from the lawsuit, but the emotions, the pain of his children, the cold silence of unanswered calls, these things will remain a quiet life sentence. And in one small corner of that story, there's still one son, Knox, the once little twin who is now 16. Perhaps the last child Pitt still shares a connection with. Recent images have shown Knox appearing alongside his father at a few rare public moments, a faint signal of hope for rebuilding what's been broken. While his siblings, Maddox, Paxtian, even Shiloh, have distanced themselves, Knox remains a small part of his father's heart. Maybe that's why Brad is trying harder now, pouring himself into becoming a better version of who he used to be. Not just for himself, but to preserve whatever remains of his identity as a father. Most recently, Angelina Jolie accused Brad Pitt of coercing her into signing a non-disclosure agreement in order to force her into silence regarding his alleged abuse toward her and their children. This agreement is related to the dispute over the Chateau Miraval estate that the couple co-owned in France. According to the terms of their original agreement, neither party was allowed to sell their shares in the estate without the other's consent. However, Angelina Jolie stated that when she offered to sell her shares to Brad Pitt, she was pressured to sign a non-disclosure agreement. In court documents submitted to the Los Angeles court on July 25, the actress's legal team revealed that Brad Pitt refused to purchase her shares unless she signed a non-disclosure agreement worth $8.5 million, which is approximately 214 billion Vietnamese dong. The purpose of this agreement was to keep secret Brad Pitt's alleged abuse. The $8.5 million was a holdback payment, meaning it would not be paid until Angelina Jolie fulfilled the conditions in the contract. As a result, Angelina Jolie decided to sell her shares to a third party. Her legal team emphasized that her decision to sell 50% of the estate was not a malicious or retaliatory action, as Brad Pitt had claimed in response to the custody ruling. In addition, Angelina Jolie accused Brad Pitt of physically assaulting her even before the well-known 2016 airplane incident. That flight marked the first time Brad Pitt allegedly became violent with their children, prompting Angelina Jolie to immediately file for divorce. Her legal representatives stated that Brad Pitt was merely using the concept of privacy to hide his history of abuse. On the other hand, Brad Pitt's legal team pushed back strongly. They claimed that Angelina Jolie was violating his right to privacy by forcing him to reveal the abuse in public. They also accused her of intentionally dragging a business-related dispute into their divorce case. Currently, Brad Pitt is suing Angelina Jolie across multiple countries, including Luxembourg, France, and the United States, specifically in Los Angeles. The actor is said to have spent nearly $10 million pursuing the legal case related to Angelina Jolie's sale of her 50% stake in the French estate to Russian billionaire Yuri Shefler. According to a close source, Brad Pitt is determined to protect the estate that he has spent many years building, no matter how much it costs him financially. Mistakes in the divorce of Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. In reality, many legal experts believe that Angelina Jolie's approach during the divorce has been detrimental to the well-being of their children, who are now nearing adulthood. Peter Walser, a prominent family law attorney in Los Angeles who has handled divorce cases involving celebrities, stated that this concern arises for several reasons, beyond the fact that a 50-50 custody agreement is considered the standard operating procedure in most divorce cases in California. Both Walser and Daniel Notes, a New York-based family law attorney, expressed disappointment over the fact that the actress, director, and United Nations humanitarian forced the court to require her underage children to testify about what they had experienced during their upbringing by Brad Pitt and throughout their parents' marriage. According to the attorneys, having children testify in divorce cases can be emotionally harmful to minors and teenagers. Being asked to share such personal information may make them feel as though they are being forced to take sides, to testify against one parent in favor of the other, even though both individuals are their parents.